I can't remember the last time I've played a proper MMO. I think the closest experience I probably had was Gaia Online back in the early 2000s. Yeah, it doesn't even it's not even an MMO. So yes, New World is probably the first proper MMO I've picked up, and it literally is a new world for me. As a person who only started gaming recently, New World was definitely a hypnotic experience. It felt like an alternate world lived online. It's where I can conveniently chop, mine, fetch errands, all for the greater good of Aeternum. Aeternum? Aeternum? I don't know. And while I'm no gaming expert, well, here's an attempt to organize my thoughts on Amazon's attempt of taking over the gaming world. Story. So New World's story isn't its strong point. You jump into a shipwreck cutscene and then miraculously you have time to fix your hair, makeup, and, well, tattoos. You get to have fun scars though. You then wake up on a shore and then you find your captain dying. This plunges you into a series of onboarding mechanics on how to survive this strange, quote-unquote, new world. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't paying much attention on the lore of this game. Voice acting, it's kinda okay, but it's not enough to get me hooked. And all I remembered was waiting patiently to be able to play with my friend. Luckily, we both spawned in the same starting area. Gameplay. You'll spend the first few hours dedicated to onboarding and learning how this new world works. You get introduced to towns, tools, mini dungeons, and factions you can eventually join. You fight 2 battles in this game, one against a common evil, and one against each other. There are 3 factions you can join, and you basically try to take over the land. However, the quest design can start to feel old and repetitive after a good while. You're basically running errands for everybody. Go here, fetch this, kill this, come back, lather, rinse, repeat. The thing that got me good, however, is the excitement and control of the combat. There is a range of weapons you can choose to specialize in. While you only get to carry 2 at a time, there's no limitation to what you can try and use. Normally, in games, I personally go for ranged combat, ranged weapons, because I want to snipe and shoot an arrow and stay away as far as possible from the enemy. But there is something so satisfying about these hammer skills that I eventually settled for close range combat. I mean, look at that. Yup, my brain responds so well to that. There is also a whole crafting system placed in the game, where your skills are divided into 3 main kinds, from gathering to refining and to actually crafting. It was really overwhelming at first. I had a hard time navigating through all the crafting scenes during my first few sessions. I mean, long lists really intimidate me, but you kind of get through it. Although I do have one gripe regarding the crafting system, it just feels a little bit unbalanced when it comes to the grind. While it's fairly manageable to level up gathering skills because it's tied with exploration, and when you go out, you pretty much harvest, chop wood, and mine ore because it's kind of, a rarity. You eventually do it and you eventually have a natural progression to kind of level up those things. Certain crafting skills like engineering requires you to grind crafting in a sense. I had to sit through a minute's worth of loading screens of me crafting the same tools over and over again just so I can have engineering skill level 50 to create the next level kind of tools, which are steel tools. When I already have so much steel in my inventory, why don't you just let me do steel tools? Sheesh! The game also has a PvP mechanic. I have not tried it. There are faction wars. Basically try to take over the land of the whole map. I'm working my way towards being brave enough to participate in a war. But I do not really have experience on the PvP, so there really isn't much that I can talk about it. So I guess we'll see. Moving on to the graphics. My, what can I tell you? New World is beautiful. It's beautiful beyond comprehension. It's the reason why I stay up willingly until 2 a.m. 30% of my time played in this game is spent panning and taking photos, taking screenshots and saving them. The map is huge and every town has sort of a different aesthetic. So Everfall has this lush yellow look into it. Windsward has the rainforesty vibe, lots of greens and tall trees. First Light looks a little bit more tropical. You have a little bit of pirate aesthetic as well. And Brightwood isn't looking so bright so far. Each town has a different flora and fauna, forcing you to explore and gather different kinds of plants, animals, for cooking, crafting potions, and all that jazz. And then, you find hidden surprise areas that give you like these spooky vibes. This random cemetery I was out of the blue sent to kill this thing. And I remember being here for the first time and just being spooked all by myself. Here's another area that my friend brought me to, and I was just like in awe, discovering such a wonderful secret trove, secret cave kind of thing. It pretty much makes you fall in love with the game all over again. At least that's my experience. It seems like for New World, exploration is the name of the game. While I'm usually biased towards games with voice acting, for some reason New World's audio work isn't really anything special. So the music's okay, it's so-so, it sounds medieval, it's very similar to Valheim. Mundane sound effects, however, it can be pretty relaxing. So sometimes you'll pass by and hear people chopping trees, you'll hear people mining ores, but overall, it's pretty good work, it's pretty mediocre work. I'm no pro, but for the casualist of casual players, New World is an absolutely beautiful game to get lost into. Playing with friends gave me that same feeling of just being outdoors. Completing quests and finishing dungeons, it's like living in a D&D kind of world. And I have no other words to say, but it's just so fun. It's that same nostalgic feeling you get when you meet with your friends outside and then you help each other run different kinds of errands. Maybe I just miss the outside world a lot. And it's definitely not perfect. It's not gonna be the best MMO you're ever gonna play. There are lots of things to be improved in the game, which I hope they do, like walking so much or fetching so much of the same errands or, grinding the same tools over and over again. But if you and the gang are looking for a new distraction, New World is definitely a good way to spend some of your next Degen sleepless nights. What about you? Have you played this game? Are you thinking about getting this game? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below.